It's taken me for ages, but I finally figured a way to get my hair out my eyes. A sun hat. Yeah, who'd have thought such a logical, simple idea. What the hell am I doing today? Right, the dial was going to Stanfree, very north, up the A1, to get a bonnet. Went really well. I only just fixed the battery terminal. That's finally sorted out. Cut it off and just stuck a new tab on the end of it. So that's all done. The only thing is, so I've had the new bonnet on the car. I've kind of had a bit of an issue. So if I just turn the camera around. So if we look here, look, that's the shut line of the original bonnet there. Shut line this side, like so. Now the other bonnet, trying to put it on, no matter what I do, the whole thing sits over here, will not latch properly, will not sit properly. And I think I've just worked out why. So I had another bonnet that I put on this car which was white, which was blue on the inside. Had that one as a donor off the other shell. Now it never fitted that car right, but I was under the impression it did exactly the same thing actually, fair enough. So the old shell was obviously bent, so to me it was, well, okay, it's not sitting right on the car, it's sitting over the joint, so it's probably because the shell's bent, so it's all twisted, it's not sitting right at all. Put it on this car to then discover actually the entirety of one side of it was sitting about an inch further forward than it was supposed to be. So where you see that sitting there, the edge of the bonnet was about there, so it just wasn't right at all. And you're thinking, what the hell's going on here? And it was actually overhanging on the headlight here, so it was like, okay, it's where the hinge point is. And then when you looked at it closer up and you laid this on top of it, this edge here was actually buckled right in. So basically, if these have any frontal impact at all, or the bonnet somehow at all gets twisted, it's not going to sit right, because it will just, where this, obviously this part here, if this gets pushed in, that is a whole hinge point, so it just moves the whole bonnet around. Now this you might recognise from when I did the Mark 1 outer seal and I had to make it up myself. So what I've just done is I've just put this, man, I hate the wind, does ludicrous things with the garage door. Anyway, so if I lay this on the bonnet like this, look, not that way around, that's stupid. Right, so if I, hang on. Okay, so if we lean this up like that, now what you'll see is, that is against the very front corner edge of that bonnet there, hey presto. Now we offer it up exactly the same place on the opposite end of the bonnet, and the gap is all about the same. Okay, now if we take the same thing and measure it up against the other bonnet, watch what happens. So, right, is that the way around? I think it's that way around it wants to be. Or is it? Right, so that's it there. And, right, so here we go. So, that is it there. It's sitting nice and flush all up and down. Now we offer it to this end of the bonnet, and here we have the issue. It's not sitting flat at all. Either it's just like a pure coincidence, or this bonnet, whatever car it came off of, had a potentially a very minor knock, because it's not sitting flat. So therefore that part there is down, which then means the entire bonnet is being pulled up like that. Henceforth, this entire side sits a bit forward and it looks like it's completely buckled, when actually it's probably the width my finger is right now in difference, but it's enough to throw the whole bonnet off. Now I've got a bit of a crazy idea, and you're going to think, are you nuts, that's quite radical, but I think it's probably the easiest bloody way of getting a bonnet to fit this damn car. And the answer is, use the old bonnet, but not as you're thinking. So you might have just seen the line I've drawn on the edge of the old bonnet. There. So this edge here is the only part of this bonnet that's got any issue with it. I mean, the paint's bloody atrocious, but the rest of it is bloody good. All up and down, it's in blooming good nick for its age. But that bottom edge there is shot. Both inner and outer skins are shot. Bizarrely, it's normally where those two studs are that the nuts are on the mounts that normally go wrong, and they normally fail for fun. The studs just shear off. But on both of these bonnets, that is a good point. But yeah, basically both of the inner skin, both the inner and outer skins, you can see a shot on this one. So what I'm thinking is, because I went picking at this yesterday, you're not able to tell where all the seals have been pulled out of it. My idea is here, because both bonnets are crap in one way or another, but it's whether or not I can cut this rubbish edge off of this old bonnet, offer it up to the new bonnet, cut that bit off of the new bonnet, and then basically just very, very, very carefully stitch them back together. Essentially make a cut and shut bonnet for it that fits this car, because essentially the only bit that is keeping this from being straight on this car is that structure you've got all the way down the edge here, because from what I can tell, that is, well, it's there, and that is currently what is holding this one on the car, is because the main structure going up and down is actually holding everything in the right place. And yeah, my thought here is, let's just cut this bit here off, cut it off the other bonnet, because either way at the moment we've got rotten bonnet that fits nicely, or a good solid bonnet that fits like absolute crap. So either way we've got a crap bonnet fitted that either doesn't fit properly or is rotten. So can we take the one that isn't rotten, trim the bits off it that we need, and make a rotten bonnet good? That's what I'm thinking, because either way we haven't got a very nice bonnet on the car, and two, I'm not paying £400 for one because of scene tax, because as soon as you put the word GT Turbo in front of a Renault 5 part, it gains scene tax. And as you can see, this isn't a GT Turbo, so therefore I refuse to pay GT Turbo prices for things. The fact that everything goes between a standard base model and a GT Turbo is beside the freaking point. I'm not freaking more paying GT Turbo parts price for a bonnet. So I'm going to see if I can do my tricky old thing of being a complete cheapskate. Can I make one out of can I make one bonnet that fits my car from two that aren't great, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. Wish me luck.